Second half of Game 3 of the NAB Challenge, not far away from getting underway. David King's been downstairs doing various interviews with various players from Richmond and Melbourne during the course of this game, and we're hoping that he'd talk to Jack Rewell at half-time, but Kingy, you won't be doing that.
No, he's not talking, Jack, and I don't blame him either. I think the football world's jumped on top of him. Jack's not a great leader. He's not a leader of this football club. We all know that, and I think deep down Jack knows that. But what the Richmond Football Club have done to Jack, in my opinion, is borderline disrespectful. They've known this guy wasn't going to be in the leadership group for some time. Whether it was a vote last year or early this year, they've known. They waited till 2 days out from a NAB Cup campaign to delist Jack out of the leadership group. To me, it's a bit disrespectful. Jack could have been told on the sidelines to take his own name out, step aside for football reasons, and make that decision a lot easier and make this whole situation a lot smoother. And I think they put enormous pressure on Jack, and I think Jack deep down will feel the pain from this one.
David King, one of his old assistant coaches as well. Now, I understand Jack might be watching at home at the moment, so there's a bit of support for you, Jack, in your decision. Not far from the second half here, 5 points the margin.
It might have been a sneaky way of finding out if Jack had leadership qualities by taking it on the chin.
It's hard to know what to read in between the lines. Sometimes he'll talk sooner or later, no doubt.
Big Orange getting a shot at it for the first time this match.
Yes, they've still got him down as a sub. Melbourne subs have been taken out, so they have enacted their 2 subs, Don Barry and Michael Evans, and taken out Jack Trengos and Sam Blease. But Stevenson and Batchelor, the 2 subs for Richmond, are now activated. Martin heads wide. Newman, who's just joined us. These games are full length in the NAB Challenge in 2014, so all quarters 20 minutes plus time on as they are in the home and away season. Every team plays 2 NAB Challenge games, and then they'll have a practice game after that. This is Sam Lloyd for the Tigers, one of their new players, gets the touch back to Martin. Asprey trying to set it up from defence. Hurley, Loston, good grab for Chaplin.
It is a very good grab. He's been a fantastic addition after 9 years at Port Adelaide.
And he's been added to the leadership group just to complete that conversation about Jack Rewell after just 1 season, 22 games and a superb season at that with the Tigers. Stevenson couldn't get near that. Ball to the back. Trengo. So he's down now as being off at the moment for Melbourne. But he's still out there, obviously. So AFL will have to look into the way that's been portrayed. Grimes.
Once again, still NAB Challenge.
Yeah,
everyone's feeling their feet or find their feet early in the season. And this is where good defensive pressure from Richmond here, just not allowing Melbourne to bounce out as they did so much in the first half. Short kick, cross field. And they would look for another one across field to find that space.
Trengo to Grimes, all the way to Blease. He turned Martin inside out. Dropped it initially, might go all the way home, runs inside 50 and puts the Demons back in front.
Now, you don't always get a runner come out and say well done for kicking a goal. I think the runner will be out to give Sam Blease a pat on the back here because he backed himself, took on Dustin Martin. Now look, you don't mind if he actually gets tackled because you've got to if you've got this speed, you've got to take him on. It wasn't a great kick, but actually favoured him here. But he puts the head down, ball under the wing, and takes Martin on. And Paul Roos and his match committee will be rapt to see that.
I thought what Dustin Martin was doing then, not as quick as him, and ran in his footprints. Didn't cut the angle. Even that's as we say, he's learning by going back to the half-back flank. I know you can chase down blokes in the middle as well, but when you've got space around you as on the true half-back flank, it's a slightly different scenario.
All runners and trainers were in pink in 2014 as well, so there's no confusion as to who's who when a player gathers and quickly looks up. Tumpus. Matt Jones have got a run on here early. The Demon. Spencer through his hands. And out of play.
It's good size, big jokey Spencer, and he can palm the ball around all right. But we saw the errant kick in the first quarter. Second quarter, sorry. We see the cough up like that. He just makes too many elementary, basic mistakes. They're the things he needs out of his game.
Asprey did well there. Pushed it around and got it to Cochin, to Hurley, back to Cochin. Tigers know they've got a game right now. And we've seen so far tonight, both teams are giving it everything as they did in game one. It's got to be said, to the point of a few injuries. No injuries tonight as there was in that Geelong-Collingwood game, which is great news so far. If you've just joined us, no one's gone down or had to be carried off. David King downstairs. You've got one of the stars for the Tigers who's hopefully not far away from playing.
No, Dan Jackson down here, the reigning best and fairest winner at the Richmond Football Club. That was a great reward for your season last year. Firstly, Dan, it must have been a bit of a shock to yourself.
Yeah, look, I've said it a few times late last year. It was a long time coming after 10 seasons, but look, it was just good to go out there and enjoy my footy again. And I'm really looking forward to going out again this year. Not so much for the individual stuff, but just to be out there with the team again. Can
we talk about the leadership group? I think that's on the tip of everyone's tongue in the football world at the moment. What Vickery kicks a goal. He's having a great night, Ty, and he's had a fantastic pre-season. We'll stay with him for a moment. He's getting the rewards tonight of what he's done over the last 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a solid pre-season, and obviously he showed a lot the last few years. But you know, big guys take longer to develop. It probably worked against him that he showed so much in his first year. The expectation jumped up, but in reality, big guys take a few years, and he's really filled out, crashing into contests and running well. So he's showing his good form, good pre-season tonight.
The coach has been fantastic. You look at his rise, his graph over the last 4 to 5 years. 6 wins, 8 wins, 10 wins, 15 last year. What have you learnt over the last 18 months that can take you that next step?
Oh, look, to be honest, from the day he came in, he said, he started with, we're going to do the little things right to start with. We're going to bring in good people. We're going to work hard. And he's accountant by trade before he was coaching after he played. And it's all about just getting the processes. So it's about sticking to what we've done the last few years, but getting better, more experience, fitter, smarter. I think a lot of it we saw at the end of last year in that final was lost between the ears. So we need to go away and focus on footy learning, and that's what we've done. 3 full training sessions a week. We review every session, just very, very methodical. And I think that's going to be what gives us that maturity to win those tough games.
Give us the quick answer on why Jack Riewoldt isn't in the leadership group from a player's perspective.
Look, it's natural selection. It's a vote, and he would have come just in after the top 5 that were picked, but the club decided to go with a 5-man leadership group instead of the 6 or the 7. He's got his flaws as a leader. His strengths are his footy knowledge and his footy ability. He brings so much to the table in regards to the game. Probably just has to work on a few more of some of the other leadership traits. I don't think it's a bad thing. It'd be good for him to go away and focus on his footy for the year, as he's publicly said. Then he can come back to the table next year and see if things change.
Look forward to seeing you out there soon.
Thanks, King.
Daniel Jackson, best and fairest winner last year, and had an outstanding season, as David King mentioned.
We probably found another commentator down there as well. He speaks extremely well. Fantastic player and a great leader for not only Richmond Football Club, but the AFL.
I think Jacko's got designs on a different career path to speaking for the dollars we get paid in the media. He's looking at bigger fish to fry than that.
Nathan Jones. Little 1-2 with Daniel Cross, Vince, Strauss, Pedersen, and they're taking him on. Raked in by Matt Jones, and he's pulled down. He's holding it in initially. Umpire says ball. And this is for 9.
They have to kick it from the best part of 57, 58, so shelves that idea.
Brad Helbig goes to the pocket. Huge leap, Edwards.
Oh!
Well, we like to see that early.
Don't mind that.
Yeah.
Try to throw the saddle on. Big catch. We'll have a look at this big jump here. Just mistimed it.
Needed to be up there for 4 seconds if he was to.
Yeah, 4 to 5, but worth having a crack in pre-season. Let's have a look at Dustin Martin. He got the free kick just before. Now, he's gone hard at the ball. Daniel crosses the player. It's gone in low. And that's one of those incidents. And he grabs his shin, and obviously he wasn't very happy with it at all. But that's one of those instances where you can break your leg there.
It's a tough one because he's from an era that you go in head first. You're considered brave.
Oh, not saying anyone's at fault there. It was just one of those.
Absolutely.
One they're trying to protect.
I'm just saying it's going to be hard for the likes of Crossy to get that out of his game, because that's considered in his formative years when he's learning this sport. That's considered brave.
Well, that's how he got a game with the Bulldogs, because his work rate and his ability to put his head over the ball. So, yeah, a tough situation, but one that we've seen a couple of times, a very nasty result.
So, dead set against leading with the feet.
Oh, yeah.
But I reckon that still needs... Gee, we're 3 games into a season. I'm not entirely comfortable with that. I think you should reward the bloke who's willing to put himself in there head first.
210 games of football, Daniel Cross.
He's just going the footy.
No doubt.
That's the rule. I'm
doubt
agreeing
whatsoever.
with you. That's the rule. I don't know if the rule's right.
Quick fire, 1-2 to Bernie Vince.
Well done.
Back to Matt Jones.
This is Matt Jones. Matt Jones again, just
gets it, doesn't he?
There. He does get it.
Giving it away though.
Almost. Bernie Vince goes hard. Made the commitment for his new club.
Catch that.
Trying to make a statement. Spencer's under it and marked it.
Good boy. They've stepped up a bit here, the Tigers. They're putting a bit more heat on them now. They cannot get it past the centre of the ground. This is the tough kick. Now he's got a 1-on-4 down the line.
Well, this is the one, again, we've seen tonight. Across half-back, they've just got to take the pace out of the game, chip across until something opens up.
But when you've got this young lad's skill, he's not bad, but he's not great. You've got to know your limitations. That's fine.
But every game in his first season as a mature recruit last year, Matt Jones gets plenty of it, as the guys mentioned, but the turnover, the crucial element. Tringo flicks it wide. Pedersen wants to bang it long. He's got Howe down there. Why wouldn't you bang it long? He's up late. Kept his feet. Good bump. Helbig went hard. Knocked him off it. Went back to go and get it though. Mitchie tried to knock on Foley. The Tigers are out. Nice wide kick to Griffiths.
More weight with Brad Helbig. Looks a bit bigger. Probably got half a kilo worth of ink on him as well.
Good work from Griffiths. He had no option to go quick, so had to slow it up.
Vickery, and Edwards is running. Vickery hasn't seen him yet. He goes inboard. Made that extremely tough for Miles. Now he's seen Edwards still running and got there.
Well, that was reward for effort. Edwards, as you said, Vickery didn't identify that he had space running towards the goal square. The second lead, once he got to the point of the square, was out laterally and honoured by a nice pass from Miles. So
he's got the helicopters. He's got the dizzies. I reckon he might have. I reckon the head might have hit into the ground here. Keep an eye on his head. He's just oxygen dead.
Just exhausted.
This has been really hard on Tyrone Vickery. Super mark, well done. But when you're in that dangerous spot on the ground, you've got to get back quicker than that and keep a scan on everything that's between you and the goals.
And that would be a fait accompli at one stage of his career, Aaron Edwards. He was the dead eye of the competition.
Yeah, they would have set up for the bounce.
And that's what happens here. This is his first lead's gone. Now his second one is across the top of the goal square. So really good work rate. But you're spot on with the Vickery situation. And as a forward, you have to have that awareness of who's actually around you to start with. So he should have known that Edwards is there and most probably going to the goal square. So that's our first look, if I can get it in there quick. But looks like he's working pretty hard.
That was a good
Tyrone Vickery, so I don't want to be too harsh on him. But that's just how the evolution of a forward.
Yeah. The more times you get it, the more times you practice it, how to work through situations. There's the don't argue.
Martin plays on beautifully. Kick not so good. Overheads. Grimes to mop it up. Back pocket. He took on Helbig and won. He almost lost Bernie Vince. Well, he almost lost his head.
Just a little clip.
Might have considered that a win. Maintained possession. Dunn heads wide to a 2-on-1. Vlosten.
Maxi.
Stevenson. Poke pass and good strong hands again. Only played the one game in 2013, Brad Helbig. It's good to see him back. To Griffiths. Puts it to the hot spot. Vickery's down there. Edwards is down there. Hands to it. Cross. Grimes.
So this is good support numbers. You look at that now. That ball's landed 12 metres out from goal, and there were 7 Melbourne players within a spread of about 12 metres of that fall. So good support numbers. They're getting back down to that type of forward thrust from the opposition.
And we did see that at times last year, but the problem was because of the lack of confidence of hitting targets, they actually didn't run out to run and support, so they just camped back there and then they got just opened up and obliterated. So there seems to be more run from behind to support tonight.
Nicholson well read. He's got the runner Barry over the top, who was sparkling in a couple of efforts in the opening half.
Talk about fatigue.
Sprays that a little, but that's not a bad result, really. Better than a behind.
Yep.
Keeps it in the area, Don Barry.
Let's have a look at this. The ball gets in there pretty quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 converging, 6, 7. And now they all arrive en masse. That's probably that's really good play. Well done. That's drilling your team to play the way you want them to. Very much. I mean, the Swans under Roos just choked anyone from getting a shot in that area of the ground.
Well, they choke you back and they choke you forward as well. Yeah. So that if it was in their forward 50, they'd get big numbers around. So you couldn't get it out. So obviously very well drilled that Paul Roos will be hoping his Melbourne team starts to replicate that super team of the Sydney Swans.
And Max King! First game as a Demon, and that was sensational by the 18-year-old.
We love any player in the AFL with the Christian name Max.
Maximum King. He's a big unit, 202 centimetres.
Good, well done, son. It falls back to him here.
Oh, you take those. Oh, he's got a round one. That's a very nice result. Young man from New South Wales. I think it was Albury, you said. Wodonga?
Wagga Tigers.
Sorry, third go.
Played with Murray.
I think, from memory, I did hear that his roommate in the under-18 team was Dylan Roos.
Ah.
So probably doesn't hurt.
No. Yeah. To get to the old man somehow.
Right. He might have pictures.
Very nice, Dan. Great to have you back too, Dan. Not just great to have the footy back.
Well, Roosie did admit that we were all working together last year.
18 games in 18 days on Fox Footy. Hope you're enjoying having the best game in the world back. Paul Roos.
How would he be feeling right now? How would he be feeling? Well, what he's saying, I mean, you're never content as a coach. It never is. But is he happy with the attempt at the team plan and where they're situated? They're level pegging.
I think he would sit back and think that we've been able to see it, obviously, what they're trying to do. Yeah. I think that's a win.
Aaron Edwards, superb spear pass.
And wins and losses are going to be byproducts of their key indicators they put in place and their structures, all that sort of stuff. But I think first hit out against opposition, I think there's enough to like.
Dustin Martin's getting a bit of the ball now. Had that first half on the halfback flank. Finding a bit of the footy in the traffic in the middle of the ground now.
And again, Aaron Edwards hits the side of his boot. A few years ago, in back-to-back seasons, he kicked 36 goals 8 and 25 goals 5. That was when he was on.
And talking about being byproducts, that he hasn't played a lot of football. He probably is starting to worry about where his AFL career is at, and thinking, well, I must kick goals. If I don't kick goals, I'm going to be out of a job. So that puts more pressure on the shot. I think obviously he's been a beautiful kick for goal over the years.
Bernie Vince waited and waited. Strauss provided. There's the dangerous kick by Strauss. Comes off. Frawley. Vince. Now the runner Evans. Has to mop up the mess. Does well. Turley. And now they're out. Giorgio has looked good. Again, 84% by foot last year. Dunn through the arm back.
He said he disagreed with that decision.
Hey, he got whacked from Lyndon Dunn, but he told the umpire off.
He wanted a free kick.
Martin dumps it. Strauss. Cross. Little poke pass is good. And here he is again, Max King. Good foot skills too. Tompus.
That's a good hit. Well, goal square's open.
Well, this could be for 9 if he wants to go for it. Viv Michie coming off a one-game career with Fremantle, one-game season last year, but he was there a few seasons. He gives it up to Tompus.
Now the Tigers, we see they run 14 back inside their defensive 50. A bit further down the track in the evolution of the way they want to play, though.
Oh, hits the spot. That is superb. It might not all be of Paul Roos's game plan, but for some reason, Melbourne looks like it's got a method, and Bale can line up and give them the lead.
14 men inside defensive 50 for the Tigers.
And that one was more about defensive structures of Richmond rather than offensive of Melbourne. To have that many players back there and have a massive hole 20 metres out dead in front.
The one place you don't want the hole. Get there.
Only a behind. Scores a level. But it's a good contest to watch.
But as a Melbourne supporter, you walk away from this game with hope. with renewed hope. You think there's enough there. I mean, new players like Bernie Vince leads the way on the ground with 23 disposals. Sure, it's only NAB Challenge 1, but he's out there working hard and gets the ball.
I think there comes a stage where you simply want to win it then, and I thought we saw that with Geelong and Collingwood 2 nights ago. It gets to the stage of the game where the players think, I want to win this. I don't want to just walk away saying it was a reasonable night.
Saw that last night at about the 3-minute mark of the first quarter.
And understandably, especially for a team like Melbourne, because you hear it cliche that winning is a habit, but losing's a habit. You get into the habit of losing. You think, oh, here we go again when challenged. They need to win games to help them feel good about their football, feel good about their individual play.
McKenzie sent it back inside 50 for the Demons. Floats it up a little. Heads to Pedersen and the 2-on-1. Rance and Chaplin against Pedersen.
Now, on replay of that, could you say that Rance actually made an attempt at the footy?
Well, initially he did, and then he realised Chaplin had it cold and pulled out.
Yeah,
do you think he needs to put his hands in the air?
I think you need to actually give the umpire an out by saying, hey, my hands are up, I've had a go, but I'm a horrible judge of the footy, I've missed it by 5.
Yeah, I agree. I think you do need to give the umpire something to hang his hat on.
Yeah.
Say, he was pathetic to try, but he tried.
Giorgio. McDonald.
Even if the umpire says that's a pathetic attempt to stooge me, but I can wear it.
Yeah, you tried.
Lyndon Dunn.
Tried to stooge me.
Couple of forwards who stooged many. And a great defender in his time too, Alistair Lynch. Vickery wrapped up, a little too high in the back as well against Giorgio. 20 minutes gone, 20 minutes plus time on in the quarters in the NAB Challenge, same as the home and away season. So we're in the time on. Edwards, fantastic lead, good pass. He wants to give it off. Over the head of Newman. And the Demons getting numbers back.
No.
Is that knee?
Newman has grabbed something.
Quad?
Hopefully it's a hamstring.
Well, that's horrendous news. We haven't had an injury all night.
Right, something.
Until this point.
I think that type of leap is indicative of
knee.
a bad cramp. Unless that's what I'm hoping for.
It might have been the issue. It looks like he's jumped, come down. He was grabbing the back of his knee, which is a worry, and there's obviously pain. Yeah.
The momentum forced it.
That's not good.
Yep.
So you get high, you get bumped in the air, you lose touch for where the ground is, straighten your leg out, and there's a hyperextension there. So he's walking from the ground, which is an irrelevant sign, really.
Been a great campaign of 233 games. Chris Newman turns 32 this year.
He's hit straight. It looked like it really hyperextended too far, but
Trengo goes inboard. Turlick has to commit. Great commitment from Edwards as well. Slaps it down. Hurley the wraparound tackle. Turlick.
Keep over it.
Kept his feet.
Good boy.
Two different stories going on here at the moment. A lot of Richmond eyes on Newman, but Melbourne want the Sharon. Nathan Jones, they want the lead here. The Demons heading into three-quarter time. Hands it up to Pedersen. That would have been for 9, and it'll be 9 less than that.
That's fatigue. That's tiredness. Needs to kick it across the body a little bit. Just hits the outside of the foot. Probably talking half a centimetre hit on the wrong foot to the wrong side. Missed the target on his foot by half a centimetre, and off she goes by 40 metres.
Rance plays on to Hooley, who thought about taking off. Dustin Martin.
He's run this third quarter out very well, Dustin Martin. I've got a feeling this might be the modus operandi until he builds a big tank in the next year, 2, 3 years. Perhaps the Tigers want it before then, but this will probably be the way he goes to keep him right in the game until the final siren.
As you mentioned earlier, Dermot, about his fatigue sitting in the second half of games last year. David King.
I think Damien Harvick was keen to try him at half-back to show him the defensive side of the game. He never had that opportunity or that luxury when he first arrived at the Tigers. And they felt like they missed some grounding just in his defensive side. So they've taken maybe a small step backwards in his career to get a long-term gain.
So he's going to get benefit both ways out of this then?
You'd hope so. And look, I think he can be a really damaging half-back. I mean, when Jack Riewoldt comes back into that forward line, he would love the length and the speed through the air that Dustin delivers the ball at. He'll catch his opponents out more often than not.
Chance to grab the lead for three-quarter time. And the first gamer can't nail it on cue. Sam Lloyd, their pick 66 in last year's draft. Played the last 4 seasons for Deniliquin, where he kicked 100 goals one season. So he can kick them.
Fair suntan, young Sam.
Yes.
He has been a journeyman, hasn't he? He's very clever forward. He's played at quite a few clubs and really showed his wares in the forward line for Frankston, the Dolphins, last year.
This is his 5th team in 5 years, you're right. Deniliquin, Mount Eliza, Bendigo, Frankston, and now with the Tigers.
Oh, he's going in the right direction, that's for sure.
Very good point.
No good if you're going the other way. But good news we saw just before that shot at goal that, well, good-ish news that Chris Newman was walking, seeming with a fair amount of confidence in the change room still. So still yet to be clarified if there is damage in that knee, but didn't look like bad news.
Down to 2 minutes to go till three-quarter time, and this would normally be a real danger time for Melbourne in recent years gone by, where they turn the ball over way too easily. Fatigue, length of the game, the mental application, they give it away.
Yep.
But now they're retaining the footy. They've drawn a 50 metres. I'm quite sure that wasn't in the plan, but they'll take it.
They'll take that. Get to take a breath, and the ball now will end up about 120 metres away from their goals.
Yeah. Unless Jeremy Howe takes a skyscraper, they're not going to get an overhead mark in here, or chip kick sideways maybe.
Trengove. Now that mark was taken on the 50 or 1 metre inside it, so this won't be for 9.
Big Orange Stevenson is going to float at the top of the goal square, looking to come over the top and kill Cam Pedersen's opportunity.
Goes for Turlick. It might still come off. They might still have the last chance of snatching this lead. Bounce past to Strauss. And Bernie Vence is down behind play for the Demons, so we'll keep an eye on that as well in the dying seconds of this third term. Tompus.
He wore a good one from Aaron Edwards on a little drive-by after him.
Yeah. There's a little, just a little block.
Okay.
Nothing too vicious, but
the 3-umpire system, the little drive-by these days, you can't do anything about it. There used to be the unwritten law because there was 2 umpires. There were no drive-bys, Kingy, and the players had an unwritten law that they'd look after it later on down the track.
Oh, well, that may still be the case. We're not sure what Bernie's rules are.
He's up and about now anyway.
And working it around the 50. How the target gets a free, and has he got a 9-pointer in him from there on the siren?
Yeah. If it was 20 seconds less to go, that'd be better, because the siren goes and he has to go to barrel. A good lead. Didn't get a big chunk of it. The 2 grabs was enough for the umpire.
Last thing he wants to do is play on as the siren sounds. He goes with the pass. Missed it. Still alive. Vince is up. Almost a high free. Threading the eye of the needle.
Bale.
He nails it. On cue. Bale gives Melbourne the lead. And we have a game.
How did he get through?
He did well. Plenty of banners behind the goals for the D's. They're up and about.
They want to win this.
Yeah.
Their fans want them to win it. They only won 2 games last year, Melbourne, and this is a huge opportunity for them. Their second NAB challenge game is against the Cats. They want to win a game heading into their round 1 clash against the Saints, this Demon outfit, and right now they have a 5-point margin at three-quarter time. Three-quarter time here at Etihad Stadium, Game 3 of the 2014 NAB Challenge. It's been a seesawing encounter. It's been fantastic to watch. Richmond's led for most of it, but the Demons stole the lead back for three-quarter time. They lead by 5 points as we head back downstairs to David King.
Well, we wondered what sort of difference Paul Roos would make. 54% is going to be the theme of the year for Paul and the Melbourne Football Club. That was their percentage at the end of last season. Almost half the score of the opposition week to week. Well, tonight, that has been turned on its head. It's up over the 100. They actually lead at three-quarter time. And these are the main reasons when you talk about how they're playing. Last year, they averaged 80 disposals less than their opponents on a weekly basis. They've had 128 more than Richmond tonight. That's total control. They've done it via marks. Averaged 82 a game last year, up over the 100 already tonight in 3/4 of football. Uncontested possessions. The difference last year, they were 56 less on a weekly basis. They were chasing tail. Well, tonight they've had nearly 100 more uncontested possessions. So it's a pretty simple story here for Paul Roos and his crew. They've protected the defensive end through control, and it's given them some offensive reward at the other end.
Over King downstairs. For the record, for Melbourne, not playing tonight, Chris Dawes, Mitch Clark, Jesse Hogan, Jack Viney, Colin Garland, Jack Fitzpatrick, Mark Jamar. And for the Tigers, not playing tonight, Jack Rewalt, Ivan Maric, Daniel Jackson, Jake King, Dylan Grimes and Ricky Pettit. So it's about even, the importance of the players they both have out.
So we're looking at it now, and Richmond, they've got another gear to go to. There's Newey back on the bench there, Chris Newman. They do have another gear to go to right now. So will they put the foot down and have a real crack at winning this one? Or the Demons going well enough that they can carry out the contract?
It means probably more a victory to Melbourne than for Richmond right now.
Yep.
I don't think the result of the game means too much to Richmond whatsoever. I think the result of the game and a number of things that we've seen, and Kingy touched on then, is a real bonus for Melbourne. And the first practice match against the opposition, great reward.
Umpires found a free.
Is it
interchange infringement?
Richmond, free kicks to Melbourne in the centre. Okay.
So we'll have a look at that. Players can put a tiptoe over the boundary and jump back and just get a fine these days for their club, so they have altered that rule. There must have been someone come on and actually be part of play for that to be instigated by the umpire on the boundary.
Jake Spencer is going to be the recipient of the free kick.
Melbourne would rather somebody else deliver it, probably.
Looks like Jake would rather someone else to have it as well. He's not quite up with what's going on.
I'm imagining there would be 17 other preferences at the moment.
So from the centre plus 50.
How'd they get the 50? Oh, of course. Okay, that's part of the rules. Yep.
So a big change in momentum here. Melbourne.
That's not exactly 50. If you look at where the centre circle is, it's 50 metres square.
Yeah.
So you've got 25 to the line, and there are only 20 past the line. He's got a 45 then. Jake needs every metre they can give him. Come on, son. Give it your best.
Big fella from North Queensland. I can't see him missing this one. Just put it in the book.
I'm tipping he won't make the distance.
If he slots it, this will be Melbourne's biggest lead of the night. 11 points, and they're charging.
There's a big man, bit of a smile.
Good lad.
He wasn't sure whether he wanted the kick. He got the kick. Yeah, I think he's pretty happy. He did.
Good lad.
And at full strength, their ruck stocks looks pretty strong if they're up and going.
Mentioned a few Tigers that are out tonight. One of them is Ivan Maric. He's downstairs with David King.
And like a ruckman well entrenched into the ruck union, you backed him to kick that one, didn't you, Ivan? Why aren't you out there tonight? Tell us a bit about where you're at.
Yeah, I've just got a bit of a sore ankle at the moment, so I'll hopefully get maybe a couple of the last NAB Challenge games before the season starts.
You think you'll be back for round one?
Yeah, that's my plan. You always want to play round one, so.
What about tonight? What's happening out there tonight? Where do you think the boys are really struggling? What have Melbourne done well? Let's put it to you guys.
Well, they've been using the ball really well and spreading us with their width, and I don't think our defensive actions have been up to the standard that we set last year, and I think that's probably the main reason why we're not playing good footy.
Do you think that when you look at the ruck stocks you've got there now, Sean Hampson yourself, how will that unfold? Will you have to spend more time legitimately as a forward now, maybe a full forward?
Well, I wouldn't mind that because help my career length, I think. But I think we'll, with the interchange cap as well, we'll have to share, a forward and a ruck spot, which is going to be great for both of us, I think.
I'm sure the fans behind the goals here are looking forward to getting that mullet going again, mate. Look forward to seeing you out there soon.
Yeah, cheers.
The cult figure downstairs with Ivan Maric. A couple of cult figures, perhaps. David King and Ivan Maric head-to-head on the boundary. 72-61. 11 points the margin. And over to you, Richmond. Do you want to win this? Vickery to the goal square. Off the back and across the boundary line. Mentioned round one. The Tigers' round one game is against the Gold Coast at Metricon. And Melbourne's round one game is against the Saints at Etihad Stadium. And Tigers' eyes will be on that round one encounter. Deledio, class, all class. Back to 5 points.
class player at too much space at this stoppage. Just gets off his man. Trengove just lost contact by a couple of metres, and that was enough space for Delidio to get around on the left. See there, just tried to take the body, ran past the ball, did Trengove, and a nice snap.
He was anticipating where his body was going rather than stay right at him.
12 possessions so far tonight. Plays his 200th in round 5. Brett Delidio, after being the fastest Tiger ever to 150. Just keeps on keeping on.
Was he really? Gee.
Ball up in the middle. He doesn't miss many games. Jones, stolen by Foley. Tigers on the march. Grigg, short, Edwards, a little drop. Dunn's right with him, sees it to the line.
Humid night, sweaty palms. Just couldn't quite get the handle on that one.
Won the last 2 clearances as well, the Tigers now.
Yeah,
their A-graders in there.
Got off to a good start in this final term.
Apart from their interchange technique.
Yeah, not a great start, that part.
Tackle on Cochin.
Someone to get dragged across the coals.
Tigers are going to face a fairly strong Collingwood in their second NAB Challenge match as well in Wangaratta. We've been given the indication by the Magpies they're going to play their big guns in that. Miles across the face.
Milesy.
So they'll face a fairly stiff challenge at Wangaratta as well, and that should be a fantastic second game in the NAB Challenge.
Just under siege at the moment, the D's, and disposals are 16-5 in favour of Richmond, inside 50s 3-1. Just got to weather this storm again, just starve Richmond of the ball.
See, here, we look here, Lynchy, they are almost forced to go sideways because there is no key target down the line to draw the footy. Now, that's going to be remedied when Jesse Hogan, Big Mitch Clark comes back, and Dawsey as well. Dawsey's great at presenting up. That's a great contest.
Kept his feet too, Evans, to stop that being a free kick. He went back in and had another crack at it after coming on as the sub. He's got plenty of beans. Morris. Good crowd in tonight, it must be said as well, here at Etihad. Plenty of Melbourne fans reinvigorated by Paul Roos being at the helm. Grigg hunted down by big Jake Spencer.
And gone again. Good lad, well done.
McIntosh got it forward. No mark to Griffiths, knocked out Miles. Feeds it back to Morris. Wobbles one inside 50, tough one for Vickery. Beaten for it by Grimes, left it behind, kept his feet. Frawley.
Gee, that was good.
Not a lot to go to by foot. Goes all the way back. Grimes feeds it back. McDonald.
This has been the biggest win for them tonight. Their patience out of the back line and their surety is something I haven't seen at Melbourne for some time.
Well, they've actually got a bit of trust in each other, Kingy.
Yeah, they have. And it's, you can see it. I mean, it may not be a win for them tonight. It may be, who knows, but this will be a definite tick in the Paul Roos manual tomorrow.
Trengove.
And it's not always just reliant on how well you actually kick the ball. It's the ability of the players up the field to find that space, run into space, other players to run out of the space to open that side of the field up, which has been really evident tonight.
A lot of that, as the ball goes over the boundary line, true centre wing, a lot of that forward play, you nearly need to base your game on what is the worst case scenario the ball can get forward to me. And if you can do that, you're actually supplying relief to your backmen or your midfielders who are under pressure, getting some real heat from behind.
So Paul Roos in the box on this form. Melbourne got him cheap. Strauss feeds it back to Frawley.
Oh, steady up, Brian.
That being the case, what would you pay for him if he had a pressed?
We've got a different version of cheap, Dwayne. You and I.
That's right.
Well, let's face it, they've had 5 coaches in the last 5 seasons. In essence, Dean Bailey was coach in 2001, Todd Viney, Mark Newd, Neil Craig, and now Roos. Those coaches before him haven't been able to get this kind of effort consistently. That's the issue.
I take your point, Dwayne. He's off to a good start, but cheap. Oh.
Over the head of Matt Jones. A turnover. Not what they're after. Batchelor. Subs come on as well to give them a spark. Vlosten. Lead short, and Griffiths held it long enough. A few players who've mentioned a lot for Melbourne, but a few players playing for their life for Richmond as well. Ben Griffiths, 2014 is his 5th season, just 1 game last year. And he's running out of time to prove the use of pick 19 on him was a good idea. Lines that up and across the face, and that's almost a mark to McDonald, just through for a behind.
He's going to get a bit of grace, though, being a 200-centimetre player. You almost get the added on 18 months of tolerance on the list before you show anything. I thought he stepped over the line then.
Big no ball.
Was it?
Yeah, massive.
Yeah.
Bernie Vince shows some poise, holds it up, waited for Rowan Bale as the bailout. Floston, good pick off. Now needs to hit a chest, goes inboard instead. Bang forward by Griffiths. Kick it and hope. Vickery, he got there. McDonald kept it alive. Turlick, Grimes. Can't shrug the tackle, good tackle. Back to Turlick to mop up the mess. Dragged down. Ellis wanted a free, didn't get it. Ball still in dispute. McDonald gave it up just in time, and Strauss has found the line, and the umpire said it was okay. Toss it in.
Just inside. He's crossed hard at the ball. 2 players, both with the head over it.
Sam Lloyd, the other for the Tigers. Stevenson. Again, keeping the feet whilst putting the head down to avoid that going down too low. King, Turlick. Oh, they've got the outlet. If they want to go, they can go. Frawley.
And the next one's the issue.
Oh, he cut it off. And he could go all the way. Batchelor. This would be huge. He's never kicked a goal in his life. Batchelor party. 39 games without one. Finally gets on the board.
Again, the intent from Melbourne to go short. Use the ball laterally. Went inside to the corridor. Just
can I show the
misread that one?
Can I really go on this? And for the guys downstairs, that view we had of down the ground when Frawley had the ball, if we can get that up again, and I'll show you why he went inside. That when they lead out to the wing, the Richmond guys, watch this. Now see Richmond are covering that space. Now the Melbourne player there has to be to the outside of him. He only is out there now because Batchelor's peeled off.
Yep.
If he was running hard and he was on the outside, Frawley puts that to the boundary line to his advantage. But because he didn't read it, because he didn't run over there hard enough, he decides to come inside for the more difficult pass. That is when it is purely reliant on workload of the midfielder to beat his man to the outside.
Got to run on. Vloss, that's a drop kick. Did he get away with that? He did. Strauss.
Drop kicks are not permissible in a tackle.
No, it's a free kick.
So that's a miss.
Foley. Deledio to set it all up. Might go all the way home. Pokes it to the pocket in hope. Edwards got there, couldn't take the mark. Good commitment from players keeping their feet again to not give that free kick away. Done to Turlick.
He's going to have to turn in again because now Howe makes a break for the outside. That's good hard work. See the difference? He's coughed it up, but at least it's safe. It's to the boundary, whereas Turlick was going to come inside to almost the impossible kick.
Turlick floats this one up. Batchelor with the spoil, knocked it down in Cochin's direction. They worked that 2-on-1 nicely. Bale almost. Cochin got away from him. Chaplin, little fumble and nudge in the back. Rance to the hot spot. Stevenson, not quite. And that's a throw. Umpire let Giorgio get away with that. Frawley to Dunn. And they've lifted a cog here. Nicholson. Both teams have taken it up a gear.
Has to take a good deep breath here and wait for someone to find a position. Probably short on the wing, or he's going to have to go back to the top of the goal square nearly.
I'm feeling for Cam Pedersen. He's the one key position player in the forward half, and he's trying to be a target for every time they come forward of the wing, and he is out of tickets. He's
haven't hit him yet.
Kingy, he's blowing harder than Dustin Martin after a good run.
There's a few of them are down here. This is a pretty taxing game. It's quite a warm night. It's quite humid down here. You just look at the Richmond forward line. If they can just get a crummer down there, maybe Delidio or Cochin at full forward for a moment, they'll wrap. I reckon they'll get 2 or 3 shots of goal quickly because everything's hitting the deck down here.
Yeah.
Saw before a lot of players with hands on knees We are at that stage of the game. We talked about it earlier where both teams simply want to win.
Jones out the back if it gets out there by himself.
There's a Melbourne chant ringing around Etihad Stadium. Cross, turnover, Hurley, sidestep was good. Goes inboard. McIntosh, Martin, Hurley. Sits it on Rance a little. Spoil from Howe. Knocks it down. He waited. Both players looked at each other. Howe flicks it out wide. Matt Jones to Nathan Jones. Sidestep. Who will he go to? To the pocket. Kennedy Harris.
He's a smart player. He finds space, creates space. Ironically, Pedersen had about 3 leads there again.
Yeah.
And didn't get used.
Kennedy Harris listed at 173 centimetres and 68 kilos. Don't I would hazard to guess the last time you were 68 kilos, you were in primary school.
This is huge for him to give them the lead back. They're picked 40 in last year's draft. Oakley co-captain, he's got the goods all right. And that might be to his dad, who passed away in horrible circumstances not too long ago.
Good lad.
What a night for him.
Very athletic little player. Looks like he's only light, but he's got some strength. Have you see the power there? You know, good power. His speed's reasonably good. Obviously, with young players, you've got to work on your endurance, but it's all at a very high level, average or above, and certainly he's a powerful little player.
With that size and shape, speed, agility, and especially endurance, with a couple of years under his belt of pre-seasons, they'll go through the roof.
He was a captain, Derm, the first Indigenous captain of the TAC Cup team at Oakley Chargers. It's a fantastic feather in his cap.
First Oakley Chargers player to appear on Neighbours.
Yeah, he is. And he's got the looks. He might be back on. He gets a good AFL career. They'll be calling. They'll be on ads right, left, right and centre. He won't be banning himself from media.
I think the last one on Neighbours was Warwick.
Well, hard act to follow. Stevenson.
Didn't get a very big speaking role on it.
Hurley, Short, Vickery. This is a great game. Right now for a NAB challenge match. Both these teams are turning it on.
Might just tee this one up.
It'll only be for 6. Gets plenty of on it, but not quite the accuracy.
Probably actually didn't back himself in enough there and have a deliberate shot. Only off a couple of steps. 2 of the guns. Super young players. Cochin and Martin just having a spell, just getting ready for probably a 6-minute burst at the end.
Good kick, good run. Carry now. And they got the domino effect happening.
Well, Howe's going to be in the goal square by himself if they can get it there.
Cam Pedersen might be a show here. Kicked over his head.
To Bale. Protected by Howe. Called him in. Did Jeremy Howe. Said it's yours.
I think the player that allowed Bale to be free had to drop back on the Howe. Howe was dropping back to the goal square free. And Bale's work rate enabled him to get into that space.
We'll have a bit of a laugh at it with Cam Pedersen. He's worked so hard. He led up the ground and to the boundary, and he took Asprey with him, and Asprey's been dropping off a bit and been third man up. So sometimes you get unrewarded running, but the team is rewarded for that work effort.
Push the margin back to 8 points. Of course, there'll still be only 1 kick in it with a super goal on option, but he sprays it. It's 3 points.
It is the tough sell to the forward that you're going to be the dummy leader all day. Just clear the space for the gun behind you. That's it's a tough one.
Kids who play forward like the glory.
Delidio straight down the middle. Vickery and Dunn.
Shepherd.
A block from Vickery. So Dunn's ball.
It's a hard one, that, because you could argue that he's actually protecting the drop zone of the ball.
Well, if we get time, we'll have a look at it, because he never really went back to the drop zone. I think that's what he's been done for.
It just skips past Tringo. He didn't expect that skip bounce.
Yeah, well, it's Mitchell Johnson. Now, have a look. You can protect the drop zone, but you've got to go back to the footy.
Yeah, the big giveaway there.
Yeah, he's looked at him.
You've got to give the umpire something to hang his hat on. As soon as you take the eyes off the ball and onto the player, you're in a lot of strife.
But that sneaky sideways look didn't really work, did it?
No, bit of a giveaway.
3 points the margin, close to 15,000 here tonight. 18 games in 18 days on Fox Footy, the 2014 NAB Challenge. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Ballarat, North Melbourne and Carlton. And then Sunday evening in Adelaide, Port Adelaide. It keeps on keeping on, the NAB Challenge. Good use of the body. Kennedy Harris. Gee, sharp.
Oh, yeah.
He is a live wire.
Tell you what, the Demon faithful behind the goals. They've got a new love child.
Yeah. There's a few streamers we haven't seen for a few years.
How good Bernie?
Just come out.
How good's Bernie Vince going?
Well, he's 30 plus, isn't he? 31, Bernie Vince now.
That was him who shoveled it forward.
He does. He creates space. He does some very nice work, this Kennedy Harris. Just a little nudge under the ball. Got away with it. Drags it around the body and slots it through nicely. Still plus 154 disposals, Melbourne are. It's a huge disposal win.
Back to 9 points. There's a super goal in it with 7 minutes and 20 left.
Oh, good man. Ferreted that out really well. Big Juggy Spencer.
Bernie Vince wide. Nicely measured kick to Nathan Jones, who says, let's set it up again, boys. Stick to the plan. He's got Nicholson, his runner. Has to go inboard, back to Vince. Oh, Bernie. Morris has set it up now for the Tigers. Hurley. Could he go for 9 here? This is to level it up. Martin dances his way inside 50. The little push off, the shove.
Oh,
not quite.
That's his third fend for the night. And they haven't looked like laying a hand on him. Just a little palm off. And there he goes. Takes possession here. I'll get around here. Just cop that little chip.
Didn't do it to a lightweight either.
No, there's 100 kilos on the other end of that arm.
8 points the margin. They're a super goal from the lead, the Tigers.
Spencer's got to get to the outside. He's got to bring it to the outside of the ground. Howe
stays down. Flick to the outside. Floston. So on 50. A chance for Lloyd. Had a shot earlier. Doesn't go for the shot here to the pocket. Third grab across the line, Griffiths.
Just stiff.
Didn't quite get it.
Stiff.
Now, this is an important stage, even though, again, it's pre-season. These are situations that both teams need to rehearse. You're 5 or 6 minutes down.
Miles splits the middle.
Gee, that was well done. Put himself in the perfect position where the ball falls down straight ahead of the ruckman's palms. Didn't matter which ruckman got the palm to that. A short throw-in is always going to drop to the front there. And he ran through it.
That's spot on. He ran through it. He hit it with pace. Read the ball very well. Read the throw off the umpire's hands. Knew it was going to be short, as you said. Didn't matter who knocked it down. The ball was going to go short, inside. Nice grab. And Miles, he's been quite a handy player as well.
So 3 games last year, as we mentioned earlier. The GWS is on the rookie list. All rookies allowed to play in the NAB Challenge. And he might be headed for the senior list before too long. Nathan Jones tries to shrug a tackle. Got out of it just in time. Matt Jones, Grimes, Nicholson going backwards to go forward. McDonald.
Oh, they're out here. If you can get up, there's a player 50 metres forward of the ball.
I think it's your boy.
I think it might be. Kennedy Harris. He's still by himself.
Can't see him.
Just, no, he's been picked up now.
2-point game. Melbourne in front. They don't win often. Fans love to have a bit of hope in the summer. Memberships are important for clubs. Getting fans back to the footy, giving them some hope, important for clubs. And Melbourne doing that right now. The Tigers, we know they'll be okay. Finals last year, only pre-season for them. It's all about round 1. There's so much more rolled into this for the Demons. Tompus.
Gee, that's a beautiful kick. And it is a perfectly weighted kick. Who offloaded that pass? Was that Trengove? That was an excellent kick.
You see Tompus and Trengove, Cross and Vince take pressure off these young kids.
Big pack in the goal square waiting for this. Spencer's there, Vickery's there, Fist.
It's not surprising Boys, they don't have a forward line at the moment. When you see the names that aren't playing tonight for Melbourne, we're talking about Mitch Clark, Chris Dawes, Shannon Burns is clever down there, Hogan, the boom star on the way through. J Mark can go forward. We've seen Jack Watts down there and Jack Viney obviously not playing as well tonight. So there's a whole host of players to come back for Melbourne. It's exciting.
Oh, it's on in the middle. Sorry, Kingy. There was a little arm and a push from Grimes and Miles.
Milesy's handed out a little bit of niggle tonight. Which, knowing his coach, will hold him in fairly good stead.
Yeah, they've just got the overlap here. They can use this wisely and just chip their way inside forward 50. And again, work rate from the midfielders and forwards in Melbourne.
Got to hit that kick.
Yeah.
Delidio inboard. Batchelor, little fumble. That's all it took. He got a kick away. He manufactured one. Lennon toward half forward. Nice work, Sam Lloyd. Right with him and wearing him well, though, Giorgio.
Alex.
As we mentioned, 24 years of age, SANFL Premiership defender. Did he disguise it well enough?
Knew where the boundary line was.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Trengove hunts down Foley. Nice centering ball. McDonald read it beautifully. 3 minutes 30 left. The fans on the edge of their seat here. It's only NAB challenge, we know. But the mindset of the players is they know what the scoreboard says and they know that a win will give them some confidence. And the more wins you get pre-season, the more confidence you hit round one with. Kennedy Harris.
Yeah, they've still got the spare player back, so laterally they can still go. I mean, 3 minutes is an eternity at this stage of the game. These turnovers can happen. But again, the work rate's been really good. Players finding space.
Gets to a point where you're fatiguing the opposition as well by making them chase you. But you cannot afford to turn it over.
And that's the one we see with bottom teams. When they're trying to maintain possession short, the mistakes come. That's just a fatigue one in the game, but that'll come with experience.
Sam Lloyd, as I mentioned, is a 100-goal in a season kicker. 5th club in 5 years. He knows where the big sticks are normally. He knows where they are here. He hits one.
It's snicked.
He's hit one.
That has snicked the post, and I don't know whether the goal umpire is sure about it.
No, that's gone a second slip.
I believe the ball flicked the post, but I just want to check.
Well, this is for the lead, of course.
That's good umpiring by the central umpire. You could tell by the way he was posturing, the goal umpire. Yeah, there's a big snick there. Yeah, second slip at least. He was posturing for the 6-pointer because he saw the wood pass, or the ball pass in front of the wood, so he was about to give a goal. But the field umpire in the centre.
We got the right decision. That's good.
I thought he was trying to hit the post himself there. Now he'll go the other way, will he? No, he wants safety.
Yeah, he's going long now.
Down to the outer side. We're down to 2 minutes. Patterson got it up just in time. Matt Jones hacks it forward. Tigers had the numbers. They need this to go out, Melbourne.
Oh, that's a perfect kick.
Taps it out. 1 minute 57 left.
That's the touch
Melbourne by 2 points.
50 metres up the ground over the boundary line. Get an opportunity to set up.
Morris. Hooley, little fumble. Chaplin caught. Trengove dragged him down after he knocked it away.
Former Melbourne and Richmond player Brad Miller is the runner for Melbourne. He's out into the Melbourne forward line saying everyone back down the opposite end of the ground. We need to choke this down.
Cochin, Nicholson, well, he cut it off. He almost could have marked that. Safe option. Lyndon Dunn gives him a tap.
I think it was good work from Dunn as well to put the block on Martin.
They need this. Melbourne, you can see Brad Miller there. He's the Melbourne runner. He's actually driving everyone into the defensive end of the ground. This is a so-called practice match, NAB challenge, as you said, Dwayne, Melbourne want this. They need this for the way they progress forward. They need to feel good about playing footy again.
Oh, big divot.
Here he is again.
Keep going. Go on.
Kennedy Harris. Remember that name. Runs to 30 and big time goal from the first gamer.
That is exciting to watch. Roosie's pushing numbers back now. Kennedy Harris, he's shown enough tonight to think he's going to play a nice little role in the forward half.
There's Alex Rance. Did he just run him to cramp, or did he trip, or did he pull a hammy? Or have a look at this.
Is a big divot.
Take the sandwich out for this. Oh, and he's got cramp on the foot too.
Yeah, that's not good.
Watch Alex chase him down here, and he hits the deck pretty hard and stays down. Oh, he might have got a boot into the face or throat.
Yeah, boot just under the chin, probably. He made good ground.
Didn't he? It was not slow, Rance.
Umpire says keep going, boys. They can kick a super goal and steal this, the Tigers. Edwards flies. They don't want to kick one from inside 50. Ball comes out to Mitchie. Show some poise and they've got this. Barry wide, Pedersen, little fumble. And it's alive again.
He's fatigued so badly, Cam Pedersen. He's worked his heart out.
37 seconds away from Paul Roos having a win in his first game at the helm of the Demons. As we've mentioned a few times, it doesn't really mean that much, and yet it means so much to Melbourne. The flick up is good. Trengove hacks it forward. Inside 30 seconds. Jeremy Howe for the clincher. And the Demons are back on the winners list.
This is exactly what a team like Melbourne needs. You would have no idea, Dwayne, at board level, something like this, the board would be absolutely rooting as hard as they could, because the marketing department comes to us and says, please, get a win. Get a couple of wins while the TV's covering us in NAB Challenge. Get us a couple of wins so the supporters feel good about it. It might mean an extra few 100,000 within a couple of weeks in terms of membership.
Absolutely, and again, it gives that hope going into the season. I mean, there were stages last year. If you walked to the ground and heard that Jeremy Howe was out of the team, you'd chuck your ticket and walk home. I mean, but there's hope with the start of this season. Is that a bit harsh?
No? Cam Pedersen bowled over in the ruck again. He's only had the 8 possessions, Pedersen, but he's worked his heart out.
Absolutely, and they get numbers back. They're going to enjoy this siren in Melbourne. They're going to sniff an opportunity here for an improved 2014. It's not a dent for the Tigers, but it's a huge fillip for Melbourne, their players, their supporters. Hope rises on the back of a victory in their first NAB Challenge match for 2014. 14 points, the final margin, and there's the kid from Neighbours, the actor turned footballer, Kingy. He has been a star tonight, and they've had a few of them. Let's go downstairs. David King.
Jay, what a fantastic moment for you. Dwayne's upstairs talking about your role in Neighbours. Forget about that. You played certainly a massive performance tonight. You must be thrilled.
Yeah, I guess you know, I wasn't around last year, but I've adopted well to the new game plan. And I guess that last quarter, I really just followed the instructions after spending a quarter out on the bench and watching what's going on, and it paid off, and we played the sort of footy that we wanted to play. Yeah.
Did you genuinely believe you could do this at this level, at AFL level, so quickly?
I guess I just walked in the first day and said, if I want this, I've got to give it a red hot crack. And the boys have been really good. They pulled me up when I needed to be pulled up and pat me on the back when I need it. And I guess today was just to find out whether I was ready for this. And I really enjoyed it out there. And I guess I'll talk to the coaches about where I'm at now. But it's good to get a win and good to get onto a couple as well. Yeah.
You never avoid the coach when you kick 3. What's Roosie's main message to you?
I guess it's sort of just getting a balance. I think it's not hard to tell. I love to just get the ball and run, and it's sort of just how that works with the game plan. Sometimes I just need to stop and take it slow, and I'm slowly adapting to that, and I'm loving it so far. Yeah.
Well, you're going to bring us a bit of joy this year. Well done, congratulations.
Thank you.
He's got a good head of hair, that lad. Dwayne, you a bit jealous?
He's put a bit of time into it too, I think.
As we mentioned, Oakley charges captain, first Indigenous captain, Trinity Grammar boy as well, a border, and he gets pats on the back from everyone, and no doubt Paul Roos will be giving him a pat on the back as well.
Isn't it wonderful? I mean, this is a NAB challenge, but that young lad, that would be the highlight of his life so far. You would imagine, being 18 years of age and being able to do that. We've got another bloke who's been around the traps a while, Kingy, but this bloke is an out-and-out star. He's been around, he knows what's going on. You've got him with you, Bernie Vince.
The difference, you mean? The difference down here, Bern. What a fantastic win for the club. I mean, you've had an impact off-field and with the pre-season period, but to get a win so early is great.
Yeah, it's so important for these young guys, you know, coming off a pretty lean couple of years, and we want to just forget about the last couple of seasons and really start fresh. New coaching group, a lot of new players to the club, and you know, we really want to create a winning culture down here, and Roosie's been huge on just being competitive with the good sides, and you know, Richmond they had pretty full side tonight, so it's a credit to the boys and working really hard in pre-season. So yeah, can't wait to sing the song, mate.
Have you felt this coming? Have you seen this building over the previous couple of months?
Yeah, we have, but we try and keep a lid on things. It's just exciting.
Keep a lid on it, mate. The lid's got to blow off.
Blow it off.
They haven't had fun like this to Melbourne supporters.
It's been really exciting, and you know, you wouldn't know that we're coming off a pretty losing culture around the place. So starting fresh, and I can't wait for the season to start. Great lads.
Can't wait to see if you know the song. Get in there and enjoy it.
I know it. It's a great song.
14-point win to the Demons. Don't go far. We'll be back to wrap it up and talk to the super coach, Paul Roos, very shortly. Hope you've enjoyed 18 games in 18 days, and Game 3 has been an absolute ripper. Valentine's Day, and there's a lot of love in the air for Melbourne. Paul Roos, his first game as coach. The Demons, right from the outset, showed they meant business tonight. Miles kicked one, Bale was in everything. Tigers led at quarter time. Jake Batchelor gave them the lead back with his first ever goal in AFL footy. But then J. Kennedy Harris, remember that name? Big moment for him. This is the goal that virtually sealed it. Running back inside 50. Had to come from behind the Demons to win this. But it was a fantastic game entertainment-wise, and for Melbourne fans, they'll walk away with immense hope for a return to some sort of form in 2014. Both teams kicked at super goal, 10-15-84 Richmond, and Melbourne 13-11 98. Howe kicked 4 for Melbourne, Vickery kicked 3 for the Tigers, and we'll talk about Bernie Vince shortly. 32 possessions in his debut in the Melbourne jumper. Dermot Brereton and Alistair Lynch up here. It was an enjoyable contest.
I think the main thing I loved about it at the end of the game was you got some shots of the Melbourne crowd, not just happy with the way they played, there was genuine glee on the faces of those stalwart Melbourne supporters.
And from the real footy tragics in that crowd, they actually come in, and like us, we could see it was evident what Melbourne were trying to do. They had a plan. They executed the plan very well. They starved Richmond of the ball. And in the end, they were more efficient going inside 50 as well, which gave them the opportunity to win the game.
Not just about the scoreboard, not just about the win. It's about seeing young players and young players giving hope. We saw that last year. They've got Hogan, they've got Viney, Melbourne, but they've got a couple of young guys now like J. Kennedy Harris. I know we've talked him up a bit, but it was a nice performance from a guy who we don't know if he's going to have a massive career, but the signs were fantastic tonight.
Well, he was. He was blistering when he got near the ball, when the opportunity arose for him. So he's just such a likeable little player and a likeable little fella when we saw him off the ground. Speaks very well. I reckon they'd be hoping he turns into some serious sort of player, because he'll handle a press conference all right, I'd say, the young lad.
I'll tell you what, Paul Roos is a likeable fella as well. He was fantastic to work with. I think the Melbourne players are enjoying working with him. David King is downstairs with the victorious Melbourne coach.
It's a happy scene down here, mate. You're the Messiah. You're the man. You've done it. Well done.
Yeah, look, it's really good. I mean, you never know where the other team's at this stage of this. So it's a bit more about what we try to do and what we're trying to get out of the game. So, look, we tick some boxes. Obviously, still got a lot to work on.
What was your message? You dragged the group straight in after the game. Not sure whether you've sung the song in there or not, but what was your message to the group straight away?
Just reinforcing the things we've really worked on, and I thought we did some really good things, and still got a lot to work on, obviously. And as I said, look, I mean, Richmond, you don't know how, where they're at in their preparation, and, there's not a lot of sort of matchups in these games, and not a lot of preparation, from us going into Richmond and Richmond going into Melbourne. So it's a bit more about your own team and what you get out of it.
Brucey, well done. What was the most pleasing part of the game? We could see it was evident that from the first bounce what your plan was. Coming off half-back, you're using the ball short, you were prepared to take the speed out of the game. At the same time, you were prepared to go if there was space. Was that the most pleasing thing?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, I think the speed at times and also the composure, just to spread the ball around a bit. I think last year, a really low possession team, the Melbourne Football Club, and probably just went for down and distance type setup. So, look, we're just trying to play the modern game. The Hawthorn are the best at keeping the ball off, and then other teams, including Hawthorn, are great when they have to go. They go really hard. I watched them last night. So you've really got to have a balance between the really attacking style and really conservative style.
Brucey, I reckon when you coach like the likes of the Swans and you make it to a grand final, you win one, you lose one, it'll give you the odd sleepless night and grey hair. These kids are exciting, but we're going to time capsule this shot on you now and see how your grey hairs go, because they did take a few risks by foot, perhaps when it might have been more prudent to go elsewhere.
Yeah, Doomy, I can't hear that well, but I'll try and answer it the best I can. I mean, look, we're going to make some mistakes, and we made a few blues tonight, there's no question about it. So it's just the continual progression for this footy team, and the young guys were pretty exciting tonight and did a lot of things we wanted to do, but we certainly made a lot of blues too during the course of the game.
We talked about Kennedy Harris just a couple of minutes ago while you were being wired up. He's an exciting kid. He's a likeable kid, isn't he? And he's actually got a good goal sense about him.
Yeah, look, he was exciting. I mean, he's done a lot of things right. He's one of those kids that sort of forces you to play him because his training habits are really, really good. And as you can see, his defensive pressure is good. So he's actually got some really good habits coming out of the system he did. And look, he was pretty important for us at times tonight.
We've heard Bernie Vince has been impressive during the pre-season. We know it's only NAB 1, but you'd have to be very pleased with the way he's gone about it on the back of his leadership through the pre-season.
Oh, look, his game tonight was outstanding. Again, it's only pre-season, but I couldn't be happy. I mean, he's a genuine midfielder. He's a really good ball user. You can see, I think he got it 32 times, but it's apart from the bit of a blue he made in the last quarter when he dropped the ball with a bit of sweat, he doesn't waste the football, so he makes everyone around him better, and I think that's the most pleasing thing for guys like Nathan Jones and Trengove and guys like that have been battling away for years, to have a quality player like Bernie Vince and Daniel Cross coming in as an experienced player, and Dom Tyson as well, so you could see Viv Mitchie played well also, so that midfield depth it certainly looks a little bit better than last year.
Can you just expand on Bernie Vince just a little bit for us? There's a bit of a perception out there he's a bit of a lad, but everything I hear coming out over the pre-season is just first class.
Oh, look, it's been fantastic. He's been outstanding. Look, he comes from a high-quality club and he trains really well, and as you see tonight, I mean, it's a pre-season game, so a guy like Bernie Vince and Daniel Cross could quite conceivably take that pretty easy, towards their stage of their career, but, I mean, they've come out and really set the scene for the other guys tonight, and it's been important for us.
Brucey, you lost the tackle count in the end, but the tackles you did lay, they were serious and they were with intent. You must have been happy with that.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought we've still got some work to do in that area, obviously. And obviously NAB Cup at times is probably not that high-intensity game, and they slipped some tackles, we slipped some tackles. Certainly an area we're going to continue to work on, but there was some good, really, some tackles with some real intent out there tonight, which is important.
I made mention on the coverage then, a couple of times your backmen, when they're under pressure, they look to come back inside because the blokes in the midfield and the forwards didn't quite work hard enough to get to the outside. That's just drill running. And so those blokes need to get that into their repertoire a bit more.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's a hard night for the forwards because we didn't have any bigs down there. So, look, the work of Pedersen and Howe was outstanding, but it was hard. I mean, we had a lot of sort of small, mobile guys that had to cover a lot of ground because we were never going to get easy goals with high bombs going in. So, we had to adjust a bit, and I thought they did that really well.
Paul, do you actually tell the guys it's only one game and don't get too carried away, or do you let them enjoy it and say, look, guys, you have improved and the proof was in the pudding?
Oh, I think it's more about where we're going. It's a good start because I think you just need a little bit of confidence with the group, but that's all it is. I mean, it's a NAB Cup game. We've trained pretty well. They're a good side, Richmond, but where are they at? It's pleasing from our point of view, but we've certainly got a long, long way to go as a footy club.
Cats next game for you, Paul, so thanks for your time and good luck in your next NAB Challenge match.
Good on you guys, thanks a lot.
Well done.
Paul Roos joining us downstairs with David King. Talked about Melbourne a lot. The Tigers, doesn't really matter for them. They lost tonight, doesn't really amount to much. It's about round one for them especially.
Yeah, no doubt about that. They got the opportunity to get some miles in a few of their experienced players' legs. We saw Dustin Martin run off half-back, and he had plenty of the ball as well with 21 disposals. But, I mean, across the board, Richmond just didn't get their hands on the ball. I mean, there were some good signs out there, a few concerns, but they're not going to lose too much sleep. They'll review the game and get ready for NAB 2.
And they had some new players as well.
Yeah, they did. A couple of minutes of this game, they slipped into fourth gear. Otherwise, they were pretty well in cruise control for most of them. No worries there. Here's some of the new players we've just talked about. So it was good night for the Tigers, I thought, in unearthing and giving some airtime to some game time. Was that Sean Hampson sneaking there? Bernie Vince. I thought Bernie was best on ground tonight. And young Mitchie, I like the way he goes. There's more of him than I thought. I thought he was a bit smaller, but he's a reasonably powerfully built fellow. That's young Camden McIntosh we saw on screen there, number 33. That's Dom Tyson. Didn't have as good a night kicking the footy as I thought he might, but he's a very good player. 12 possessions for Dom Tyson. There's young Milesy, another GWS boy. He had a good hit out. So I reckon he's actually bolstered his stocks looking forward into the future.
And that's what we like to see in NAB Cup games, is the young talent that some of the players have been on the lists for a couple of years. We get to see them at the top level, or close to the top level. So great opportunity for both fans and players and commentators to see some new talent.
What we see, though, is the very top teams, the top 4 teams, they have their kids in a program which they've got 3 seasons in the VFL, the secondary competition, before they unearth them for AFL. These kids are coming in with 1 or 2 because their stocks are pretty low from given the base where they come from. So we're expecting great things out of these kids that don't have the run that the Geelong kids have, the Sydney kids have, even the Dockers kids in the time that they've come through. Hawthorn kids have all done 3 years before they're exposed at this level. Some of these kids are having their first hit out against men.
What's the flavour like down there, David King? You've hung around in the Melbourne rooms.
Oh, it's exciting down here. It really is. A lot of smiles on faces. Some partners and some family have been through some tough times over the last couple of years, so to expect them to get down here as quick as they can and enjoy this. It's only a small win, but to me, the Melbourne Football Club have got a brand. They've got their identity back, and whether that is off-field as well as on now, I think that's the biggest gain for tonight for Melbourne. And Paul Roos, we know he's got a swagger, he brings a level of confidence with him just through what he's done in the game and just his presence around the group. But now they've got an identity on field, they own a brand. And when you look at the other tail of the other side of the coin, I should say, with the Richmond Football Club, it's a real concern because they've talked about their leadership all week. And today, when the game was in the balance, it's only a NAB Cup game, but this is the same thing that's haunted them year after year. Games they should win, when they really can build some momentum in this pre-season period and get what should be a great 2014 off to a good start, they fall. And they fall through immaturity. They should have won tonight. They were clearly the more talented team out there, but they were beaten by a more committed brand of football that Melbourne brought to the game.
Kingy, I actually think their best on-field leader on-field is the bloke you spoke to, Ivan Maric.
Yeah, he's the cult figure. He's the one that gives them that real aggression. We saw a few big tackles made by Richmond, but when the game was in the balance, it was 2 to 3 points the difference for 4 or 5 minutes there late in the piece. They just couldn't crack Melbourne. Melbourne were too patient. They played keep-ins off, and Richmond didn't want to play without the ball. It's as simple as that. Melbourne come with a plan in mind, and they absolutely nailed it tonight, and full credit goes to them.
David King, who's about to go and have a chat to Jack Rewalt, we understand, so we'll look forward to that interview and get some sleep tonight, Kingy. You've still got 15 more NAB Challenge games in the next 15 days to do, so I'm looking forward to that. It's been entertaining, hasn't it, so far?
It's been very entertaining. We've seen some good football. We've seen some young talent. We've seen some supporters that haven't had hope for a couple of years with hope today.
And the carnival heads to Ballarat tomorrow, so we'll see a couple of other teams unveiled, and it slowly evolves over the course of the next couple of weeks. The 2 Adelaide teams, Port Adelaide and Adelaide, on Sunday as well, and then we head over to Joondalup, you and I, Dermot, to do a game over there. So
I only found that out an hour ago.
Did you? The travelling roadshow continues.
So you're not coming to Ballarat?
No, that's yours. But who we got? Carlton and North Melbourne tomorrow.
Be a good game.
Mick hates losing a game of marbles, so it's the NAB Challenge, but he'll be out to win it.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It will be a very interesting game. 2 teams that are predicting to be up around the mark this year.
And with Nick D'Alessandro as well in North Melbourne colours. Plenty to look forward to. Been great to have your company tonight here at Etihad Stadium. The Demons, that was the story, getting up by 14 points.
Down to the riptide, taken away to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man. I love you when you're singing that song, and I got a lump in my throat.
This has been a Fox Footy production.